This is the backpack of the future. Why? Watch this video to find out. If you prefer, you can watch this content in Romanian and in Hungarian as well. If you are new here, welcome to the channel where we talk about hiking in Transylvania and around the world. We publish new videos every Wednesday about our trips, educational content and gear reviews, just like this one. If all of this sounds interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe. So what's this? This is my latest backpack, the Ultimate Direction Fastpack 35, which I have for a few months and I have already used it in some hikes, including in Tenerife. The video about our first hike in Tenerife is already on the channel, and the story of our other hikes in Tenerife will be published in the future. Because this is not a regular pack, I think it's interesting to talk about its name a little bit. Ultimate Direction is not a typical hiking brand, it's much better known among trail runners. It's a brand from the US, founded in 1985, which has launched on the market a lot of new inventions. They are the ones who popularized the fast style running backpacks. So now that we clarified the first part of the name, let's see what's up with the second part, Fastpack 35. Of course, 35 refers to the capacity of the backpack, but it's not exactly 35 liters. We will talk about this a little bit later. And what does Fastpack mean? Well, this term got trendy in the past few years, but the activity itself has been practiced for decades. Practically, it's somewhere in the middle between regular hiking and trail running. It means moving fast with a light weight and sometimes even running. Some people like to restrict the definition only to multi-day trips, others include also day trips as well. What I have here is the late 2018 model, and why is this important? You will find out a little bit later in this video. This is a hybrid backpack, which means that it has enough capacity for a regular hike, but it also has these pockets in the front which are easily accessible without taking down the backpack. So this model comes in 15, 25, 35 and 45 liter sizes, and I have purchased it just for day trips. Now the question is, why have I chosen the 35? Because it looks quite big for a day trip, right? Well, first of all, not necessarily. For a winter day trip it could be just right, but that's not the main reason why I have chosen this one. The main reason is that this is the smallest capacity that has 3 pockets on each side in the front, and I've decided that for my gear I need the 3 pockets to better organize it and to have more gear accessible to me during the hike. So what did I mean by the capacity not being 35 liters? According to Ultimate Direction's site, this backpack has 32 liters of secured capacity and 5.8 liters of unsecured capacity. Now, what the heck does that mean? Unsecured capacity are the ones from these mesh pockets, these 2 side mesh pockets, and also this huge mesh pocket. Why is this unsecured? Because stuff can fall out if you are not careful. Secured capacity is this zipper pocket on the back, these 2 zipper pockets in the front, and of course the main compartment. So what's the weight of this pack? Ultimate Direction's site says it's 710 grams. Now on my kitchen scale it's more like 750, but the good thing is you can get rid of some of that weight. First of all, these waist straps weigh about 66 grams, and second of all, you can get rid of this foam from the back of the backpack, which is a further 64 grams. So in total you can get rid of 130 grams, which is a nice trick that I have also used on the day we climbed Pico del Teide, which is Spain's highest mountain, and I consider that because of the high altitude every gram counts, so this was a useful trick. Let's see the main features of this backpack in detail. The main features are these pockets in the front. There is one big zipper pocket, this is where I carry my phone. Behind it you have another pocket, and also in front of it a mesh pocket. These are elastic. On the other side, this this is a typical bottle pocket. I think if you have a really narrow bottle, even a 1 liter one can fit in there. And of course you can fix it with this elastic, another mesh pocket and a zippered small mesh pocket. Then you have these two chest straps, which of course can be fastened and can be moved up and down on these rails. Now, if we are here, I would like to explain how to adjust these types of backpacks, because maybe for other persons it's quite clear, for me it wasn't. The first time I bought to myself a running vest, I did the same thing as I do with a regular backpack. First of all, I fixed this strap, the main shoulder strap, and after that I buckled in the chest straps. Now, in the case of this type of backpacks, you have to do exactly the opposite. First of all, you need to decide what distance you want the main shoulder straps to be at. Some people prefer them to be really close, others like it to the exterior. I like them somewhere in between, where they come right above my chest. So after you have fixed the distance, you move the chest straps up and down until you feel comfortable, and only after that you come to the shoulder straps and fasten them. The reason is that with these packs you carry the weight not on your hips or your waist as with the regular backpacks, but on your ribs. So because of that, you need to fasten it quite hard to be able to carry the weight on your ribs. Another useful feature here on the front are these loops, which are for carrying your hiking poles, which have also a reflective material. Now we have seen what's in the front, let's see what's in the back. You have two big mesh pockets for bottles. I think even 2 liter bottles can fit in one of those. And then this really useful huge mesh pocket where you can put a lot of stuff. Then you have this small zippered one where you even have a key loop, and of course the main compartment with two velcro closures. And then you have here the usual pocket for your hydration bladder, of course here the hole for the hose and the strap for it. And in order to close the backpack you have two options. The official one is to get this buckle, each one on the side, and then fasten it. And the lazy one, which I have used sometimes, is to just use it as a dry bag and buckle it together. Of course, in this case, this will just stay unfastened. In the back, you also have place where to fasten your hiking poles or even two ice axes. So now that we have seen the features, let's discuss the pros and the cons. Of course, the main pro is the nice accessibility of all the gear that you put in these pockets, and also the mesh pockets in the back are quite okay to access. The one in the back, not really. A result of using pockets in the front is that you have a better weight distribution. Not all the weight is carried on your back, but you have some weight in the front as well. These wide straps from a soft material also make it quite comfortable to use this backpack, except one case which I will discuss later. Now, regarding looks, I'm just a guy. I don't care how my gear looks like, but I have to admit that I really like this green color. I find it really cool. Now, I know some people don't like this big logo on the back because they feel like walking billboards or something like that. Honestly, I have no such issues. I think that as long as I paid for a brand, why not let anybody see what kind of brand I am wearing? So I promise that I will explain why it's important that this is a late 2018 model. On the earlier models, the main complaint was that these side buckles didn't buckle in on both sides, just one side. So people had to count how many times they roll so that they could buckle. But on this new model, I will show you that luckily the buckle works both ways. So I can happily report that on the new model this thing was fixed, so I can count it as a pro. Now let's see the cons. As I have explained, with this type of backpacks we are carrying the weight on our ribs and of course on our shoulders. Now this can be a problem if we try to carry too much weight, because the hips will still be the best weight carrying part of our body. So I would say if you try to carry more than 12 kilograms, then this backpack will start to be uncomfortable. For myself, for a day trip, I will never go that heavy, but for someone who really wants to push this backpack to the limits and maybe carry a tent and a sleeping bag, food for more days, then it can potentially become too heavy and uncomfortable. My main issue with this backpack is something which I have found out during hiking, and is the following. Ideally, I would put this strap in this hole, but if you look closer, you will see that this hole is much bigger than this one. So by moving, the strap comes loose, and you have to put down the backpack and put the strap back, or ask your hiking buddy to help you. But when this happens 5 times in an hour, you will start to lose your mind. Now I know this is easily fixable, but for a backpack of this price, I find this unacceptable. Another potential disadvantage in the summer is that because these straps are so wide and because you need to strap this backpack to yourself really closely, the breathability of your back and your chest is reduced a lot. So it can potentially be more warm and you potentially can sweat more in hot weather. So this is just something to think about. What would I change in this backpack? First of all, if we have this waist/hip belt, why not put 2 hip pockets on it? Another idea would be some rib pockets here and here, like the one we see on Salomon running vests. Now this can also be a problem in the summer because the breathability is even more reduced if this part is covered by a pocket. So it's a preference thing. This top closure is probably a question of preference. For me, it just takes a lot of time to roll, buckle, unbuckle, roll. Every time I need to access something in the main department. Now I understand that for people who carry a lot, this extra capacity is useful, and perhaps for someone who likes to really stitch down everything, they like this system better. But for me, for day hikes, I would prefer just a simple zipper, but that's just me. And my last suggestion is, I have seen on some backpacks back pocket here in U shape, which is easily accessible by this motion, and you can stuff some things inside those pockets without putting down the backpack. Now I wouldn't trade that kind of pocket for this big one because this is really useful, but if we could have both, it would be perfect. So why do I think this is the backpack of the future? Because in my opinion, everybody prefers to access his gear without taking down the backpack. And in my opinion, the disadvantages of this design are minor. So in my opinion, in 5 years, in 10 years, we will see much more backpacks using this style of straps having pockets on them. Because this is the first gear review on this channel, I will now take a little time to explain how I will grade the gears that I review here. The first category, worth 20%, will be the weight. Everyone prefers a lighter weight gear, but on the other hand, I don't think weight is so crucial to give it a bigger weight. Pun intended. Of course, ultralight enthusiasts would think otherwise, but this is my opinion and my grading system. The second category, also worth 20%, is durability. If we buy something, we would like it to be durable so we could use it for years and years to come. The third category, which is also worth 20%, is price. Of course, we all need money for our day-to-day life, so we prefer to pay less for our equipment. And the fourth category, which is the biggest one and it's worth 40%, is the functionality. How well the gear does its job, how usable it is, and maybe a little bit the quality goes in there as well. So that being said, let's see how well the backpack of the future does. As I have said, I think 750 grams for a backpack of that size with that durability is a really good deal. Now they could probably shave off some tens of grams here and there, but in the end my grade is 9 out of 10. Let's talk about durability. When I first went hiking with this backpack in the local forest, we got lost. So this mesh pocket got snagged by a lot of branches and a lot of stuff, but it had nothing. So it was a really pleasant surprise to me. Now I have this backpack only for a few months, so I cannot tell how well it will do in time. And in general, lightweight materials are not so durable, but so far this backpack has been really durable. So for durability, my grade is 9 out of 10. Now the price is the weak part of this backpack. If you're interested how much it costs, I will leave some Amazon links in the description below. Even considering that it's a really good quality product, in my opinion the price is a little bit too high. Actually, this is the priciest backpack I have ever bought, including my big backpacks. So taking into consideration all of this, my grade is 7 out of 10 for the price. And in the end, let's see functionality. I must penalize this backpack for this too big of a hole issue, 1 point, and one more penalty point because this strap, which doesn't have a hip pocket and maybe this closure, but it's a preference thing. So in the end, for functionality, 8 out of 10. Now doing the math with the percentages, the overall grade is 8.2. If you have any question regarding this backpack, just leave me a comment. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like. And if you want to see other videos like this, subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. And if you want to support me, you can do that on PayPal and Patreon.